For some Christians who hold to the flat earth theory, they are bringing unnecessary ridicule upon Christianity in general and the Bible specifically.
Today we will have a look at David Wise when he tries to be a debunker. Prepare yourself, because this will be really, really stupid. Today I will have a look at two videos from David Wise when he tries to debunk the pastor Justin Peters that have started making videos about Christian flat earthers. And this is so damn stupid. So let's start with the first video.
For some Christians who hold to the flat earth theory, they are bringing unnecessary ridicule upon Christianity in general and the Bible specifically. And I want to show you how to debunk the flat earth theory just by this photograph that I took from my iPhone. Now,
no, you're not. You're just going to embarrass yourself and show how ignorant you are or deceptive. Let's see.
Basically, this is what the flat earth model looks like. So we are living according to
straw man. Why do you always have to straw man flat earth? If flat earth was a psyop, why do you have to use a false model, a disk in space, or as you say,
it's not a straw man. You flat earthers have no model, you have no map.
According to the flat earthers, we are living on a giant manhole cover. So the sun is up there, but whether it's 30 miles or 3,000 miles, both the sun and the moon are above the clouds. So if that is true, there is no possible way for the sun ever to illuminate the underside of the clouds.
This is true.
Does that make sense? Now, flat earthers will say, well, the sun just appears to set because it gets further away from us, and from our vantage point, it looks like the sun is going down. But dear friends, according to the flat earth model, the sun is always, always, always above the clouds. It has to be. It is above the clouds. So there's no possible way for the sun's rays ever to come up from underneath the clouds.
This is true. They will not come up from underneath.
Dave did make a cut in this part we saw just, and Justin was talking more about his description of flat earth, and I think it was a quite good explanation, but that's not the important part with this video. When Justin is talking, I'm using the sound from the original video, because on Dave's video you barely can hear his talking. So that's why perhaps the lip sync is not perfect.
Illuminate the underside of the clouds. All of us have seen this. We've all seen sunsets, right? And the underneath side of the clouds is illumined by the sun's rays. But if the sun is on top of the clouds, there is no scenario for the sun's rays to get underneath the clouds and illuminate the underbelly of those clouds. The only way this works is if the earth is round. And so this is one picture that I took. Here's another picture that I took.
These are thin clouds that are showing sunlight through them, and I'm going to prove that to you in a moment.
Picture that I took from my iPhone, so showing the same thing. Clouds being illumined from underneath. So just a little bit of science here. Open and shut case. The flat earth model cannot account for this. So if you're one of those well-meaning flat earth Christians, please, I implore you, let go of it. The Bible doesn't teach it. Rightly interpreted, the Bible does not teach a flat earth at all. And science absolutely refutes it. Just common sense absolutely refutes it in simple observation. So next time you see a sunset and the clouds are real pretty, think of that. The only way you can see that is if the Earth is round.
So there Dave made one more cut after the word science. So let's listen a bit on Justin's science explanation.
So just a little bit of science here. The law of reflection states that on reflection from a smooth surface, the angle of the reflected ray is equal to the angle of the incident ray. So in other words, if you have a smooth surface or reflective surface, at whatever angle the incident ray is coming up, say it's at a 45-degree angle, when it hits the surface off of which it reflects, if it's coming up at 45 degrees, it will then be reflected back down at 45 degrees, illustrated with this little drawing here. So, all that to say, the only way that you and I can see the underneath side of the clouds is for light to be reflecting off of those clouds and coming back to our these two orbs sitting in our skulls. So the light has to be coming up from underneath the clouds to get back down to us. That is only possible on a round Earth. Now here's a couple of more dramatic pictures. I did not take these photos, but this is Mount Rainier in Washington State. There's several pictures of this. You can Google images, easy. So you see the shadow that is coming from Mount Rainier, and it's beautiful pictures, right? And so the shadow of Mount Rainier is being cast on the underneath side of the clouds. That's because the sun's rays are coming, they're illuminating the underneath side of the clouds and also catching the top of Mount Rainier and casting that shadow on the same side, the underneath side of those clouds. That is not possible on a flat Earth.
This was a part of the video that Dave didn't want his followers to see or hear. Let's move on with Dave's stupid video.
All right, Pastor Justin, let's have a little lesson here. When we're done, let's see if you're man enough, pastor enough, to admit that you were wrong and retract your, let me say, stupid video, right? So here is we're looking up at a building here, and let's say it's noon, and we're watching the sun move away. It's moving across the sky, just moving across the sky. Globe, Earth, flat Earth, doesn't matter. It's moving across the sky. We know that the sun isn't below the horizon, it's just beyond the building. Now, if we wanted to see that sun, we can move backwards pretty far and get a better angle, and you'd be able to see the sun. And that's called perspective.
And that have nothing to do with reality or the subject of this video. I will move on a bit in this video because Dave continues talking about perspective.
So now let's take a look at your photo. So you believe that this photo shows the sun below the clouds and it's lighting up the bottom because he shows you a little angle thing there, right? First off, these clouds aren't very thick. Do you think clouds are opaque? This is like a fog. This is barely anything. And you're just seeing it because the sun's going away. The sun is above the clouds. It's always above the clouds. And I will show you that, right? But you think this, because we live on a ball, is below it. Let me show you how silly that is. Now let's take a look at some examples so you can possibly understand what you're seeing. Here we have a tunnel. We're looking at the sun. And this tunnel, we can see that it's not high off the water, maybe 10, 15 feet above sea level, but the sun is out here. Now, if there was a fisherman out here on his boat, could he touch the sun? No, it's way higher in the sky. So the sun is higher than this, but it looks like it's lower. This is called perspective, something that globers never take into account. Here's a tunnel right on the water, a cave, 15 feet above the water. And this sun is over this mountain. This mountain looks to be a couple thousand feet high, right? But the sun appears to be below it. So in your world, the sun should light up the bottoms of these clouds here because they're on the top of the cave. The top of the cave's higher than the sun, of course. Perspective. Understand it, right? So here's a picture I took myself. Sun clear underneath the clouds. These are opaque, thick clouds. Opaque, thick clouds. The tops of the clouds are lit. Sun rising, thick, opaque clouds. The tops of the clouds are clearly brightly lit when you can zoom in on them and take a look. Same thing here. The sun is always above the clouds. You can see the edges, no problem, right? You can see that the tops of these clouds are lit. The bottoms are not because the sun is above the clouds. Sun's coming into view. The tops of the clouds are lit. The bottoms are not lit. According to you, the bottoms should be lit. Again, here you can see them very, very clearly. Maybe you should have my app. Anyone that has my app, you can go to the images section right here, click, and just type in sun under, boom, sun under, and here are all of those images. Here's another one. The sun is below this cloud, opaque, but look, this cloud right here is thin and translucent, so the sun goes through and lights up the whole thing. Let's look at another one. Here's a little combination of both. These clouds are thick and luminous. The sun is underneath. They should be lit according to you, but only the ones that are transparent appear to be lit. The tops are lit. Now, if you are unwilling to see this, you're a deceiver, whether you know it or not. But your proof is idiotic.
So, Dave, why didn't you want your viewers to see this image? Any special reason for that? Let's move on to the next video where Dave tries to debunk another of Justin's videos.
All right, so according to the typical flat Earth model, Danny, the Earth, in my first video, I called it a giant manhole cover, and some people didn't like that, but the general model is the Earth is this disk, right? The North Pole at the center, and the sun and the moon revolve around the North Pole, and they attribute seasons to the sun. Somehow, they don't have an explanation for how this happened, but the sun will somehow expand its orbit, and instead of circling around, say, the Tropic of Cancer, as the seasons change, it'll make a bigger revolution and it'll kind of go around the Tropic of Capricorn. But if that's true, wouldn't the speed of the sun also necessarily have to change because it's going in a much bigger circle, and yet we don't see the speed of the sun going across the sky changing?
Yeah, they would argue that that the radius of the sun's daily motion changes throughout the year. It's a smaller radius in December, it's a larger radius in a smaller radius in June and a larger radius in December.
And here we have the reply from David Wise. Hold on, this is stupid. Please note it's one image the same time every day for 1 year. He don't explain or address the obvious problem with the speed of the sun. So there you had it, 2 videos when David Wise as a debunker. What did you think about his debunking skills? Me personally thinks it was horrible. He was so bad at debunking, but it was quite hilarious. I hoped you liked this video. It was a quite short one, but I enjoyed doing it because it's so fun making fun of people like David Wise. I will be back soon. Hope you have a nice day. Bye.